there, it's Patty from pspapercrafts. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I wanted to show you some new products here. If you like tea, like I like tea, I think you're going to love this suite of products. And let me just show you, I can now open the new catalog. This launched yesterday, and it's May 2022 through April 2023. And it just has some really beautiful products. Let me just mute me. I thought I had done that. Sorry about that. I have it on in the background. So if you go to page, I think it's 12 and 13 in the new catalog, you'll see this suite of products. It's called the Tea Boutique, and it has the whole suite. If you wanted to get the whole suite, it has the bundle, which is the teacups stamp set, and then the coordinating dies, and I'll show you them in a minute. But you also get the designer series paper, and it's all the new ink colors. So I am loving the new ink colors, and then they threw in crushed curry as an add-on. So there's 5 new ink colors, and then the crushed curry is in the pattern paper. And then there's also these Tea Boutique cards and envelopes, which I'll show you. And if you look on page 137, you'll see them. And it is really a great deal. So they're here with the cards and envelopes, and you get 20 card bases and 20 envelopes. So it's a great way to start your card, have a pretty envelope. So let's go through some of the product. Let me put this aside. And this is the card I made, and we're going to make one similar. It says it's time for tea, and let's get together soon. And look at this envelope. It's already decorated. So pretty. The card base was made, and I just put an inside layer, so it came like that. This is the stamp set. It has this cute little tag, and you can fit all these little sentiments inside of it. So I like the it's time for tea. There's I miss you, just can't thank you enough, enjoy, sweet, very cute. And then there's some big tea bags, and I love this floral that you can stamp and then cut out. So this is the die set. So it has the plain cup, which I used here, and then on the inside I used this cup. And there's hearts and flower tops, and then you can cut out this stamped image, the flower images. I just cut them from, and I'll show you what I cut them from, some new glimmer paper. So I love it, and it's really amazing. You can do the lemon. You want a piece of lemon, and then you can cut that and then overlay it with a darker piece. So these are the cards and envelopes, and again you get 20 of them. You get 1, 2, 3, you get 4 of each color. So see the Sweet Sorbet, Tahitian Tide, whoops, what is this one? It is Orchid Oasis, and then Starry Sky. And then the, you know, so the tops, the flaps are all decorated, and then you've got the flowers, and then the backs have a little bit of a flower. I think they're so pretty, and then you get the 20 card bases to match them. So these are the different ones. So that's the green one I used. And I think we're going to use, this one. I love this one. It's the Starry Night, and there might be some old orchid in it, or Orchid Oasis. And then I have a piece of paper I'm going to use. I kind of thought what I wanted to do. And then here is, it's 6x designer series paper. And let me just take it all out. So you have like a pattern on the front, and then kind of a plain pattern. But look at these teapots. They're so pretty. You've got your lemon wedges, bunch of teacups. I think this is really wonderful. I absolutely love tea. I don't drink coffee. I never developed a taste for it. So I drink tea all day, every day. Tea and water. Have a glass of wine with dinner, but otherwise it's tea and water. So let's get started making our first card, or our other card. So again, I'm going to use the Starry Sky card base. So it comes, it's already has the line for the fold. So it was already scored. Let me just get my bone folder, make it nice and neat. So on the inside it's white, You can put a color in there or something. I always do a white layer just in case it bleeds through, if I'm stamping or coloring with Stampin' Blends, or if I make a mistake, I could flip it over. I'm not doing anything to this. So I always add a white inside layer. So let's do our first thing. We're going to cut, and I'm using this new glimmer paper. This is also in colors. So I use the Sweet Sorbet. I'm going to use a blue on this one. And there's the Parakeet Party, the Tahitian Tide. And it's kind of an ombre look. So it's dark and then it gets lighter. Very nice. Hey, Melinda. Thanks for joining. And then you've got your Starry Sky and your Orchid Oasis. So I think I'm going to use this one. And we'll just put this aside. And I think this will be nice for the teacup. The other thing, I'm using another product that I just wanted to show you a lot of the different new products. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that there's a lot of dies that are not specifically coordinating with stamp sets, and you can just use them on their own. So this one is the Fabulous Frames, and they have this great big frame, and this is the one I use. So it cuts out the frame, and then you have these little corners, and then this oval frame, and then a label. So this is great. And all of this one we can't use the mini embossing cut machine. We have to use the large one. But for this one, we can use the mini. So let me just get this out. I have this on my desk all the time. And we'll get our plates out. So on this one, we'll use our base plate and then 2 cutting plates. And I have a piece of white, so we're going to start with the frame. Try to do this so it's not too loud for you. And I have a piece of white, and I like to cut my white, or anything that I'm going through my die cutting machine. I like to cut it down. Of course, you want to cut it to fit in here, but I like to cut it down to close to size, so I'm not running it back and forth and getting the impression of the plate above it. So, and then the other thing is, if you pull this plate back and put the top one up a little bit, it just goes a little bit smoother when you're running it through. So we'll run this through, and we're just going to frame our little teacup. And I just love these flowers. I think they're so cute. So now you have, and I was actually surprised when I saw this, that the middle comes out. So you'll use that as a scrap. We can use that for our leaves there. So let's put this aside, and we'll do some stamping of the leaves. So this is what our card is going to look like, and I love this. So pretty. So let's get our kind of leaves for the flowers, and I'm going to use the new Parakeet Party, and we'll just ink this up. So I think I'm going to make this card for my mom. My mom lives next door. She drinks tea as well, and every night we have dinner together. She's 90. And after dinner we have a cup of tea and watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. That's our kind of thing. And now my sister just moved in, and we're trying to get her into the groove, but I think we're doing more talking than anything else, which is nice. So she moved right in with my mom, which is really great. It's allowing me to move back up north to be with my kids and my grandkids. But I have some overlap time with her. I'm just lining this up so that I can kind of hang out with her. She's my older sister, and she retired. So she lived in Pittsburgh. She hates the winter, and I know it's always cold in Pittsburgh. I think, Melinda, I don't know where you are in Pennsylvania, but I think you're probably in that cold area as well. So we're just going to pull this out, push that forward, and we'll cut this. So I was just putting a piece of Post-it tape just to hold it in place. When I'm cutting something that's very close around, I like to use the Post-it tape. So now we have this piece. Let's cut out our tea cup. And this one I'm going to use the lighter color here. So I want to cut it down first. Let me just get my trimmer here. what I like to do is kind of get the piece that I'm cutting. Let me put this over here. And I like to measure it and cut down. So it's a little under 2 inches, so let's do that. We'll cut it a little under 2 inches. And this way we're not running this whole big piece through. And I'm also going to cut the flowers out of this color. And I don't need my little tape here. So let me get the flowers. And they come all together in one kind of piece, which is nice. And you can cut out more if you want to have more. So let's just put this on top. Hey Tiffany, thanks for joining. So we'll just run this through. And this is a little bit thicker. Sometimes you have to run it through twice. So when I did this inside, I actually cut on the back of this, and we'll do that. But I used the glimmer paper, and it took a little bit to get it cut out. I went back and forth twice, but I really had to poke these through. And I think it's because I cut it from the back side. I wanted the teacup on the inside facing the other way. So we'll do that. I'm going to use a different one though, a different paper. So now we have our flowers. It's all coming together. And the other thing we want to do, so let me just get these and put them on here. Before we put that away is cut the tea bag. So I'm going to stamp the little tea bag with the black Memento ink right on this scrap. And then we'll run that through. And there is a smaller tea bag die. So this one cuts out the stamped, and then there's this smaller one. So I love having a variety like that. So we'll just stamp this with black ink. And I think I'm going to use the same sentiment. And let's do that first. So it's time for tea. And I'm doing that in, I think I'll use the Starry Sky. Kind of making this on the fly. So let's just get this stamped. There you go. So cute. I love the sentiments. I'm going to be using this a lot. And I want to see if I can make something like a tea bag holder or something like that. I think that would be great. And then this one, I want to use a piece of this Post-it tape, just so it doesn't shift when I'm running it through. And then we have one more cut, I think, on the inside, but we'll get the outside together. So this I'm just going to run right through here. I love my mini. I love having it right at my desk at my fingertips. I always think it's such a chore to take out the big one. Now I'm spoiled. Okay, so let's put this away. Yesterday I kept it when I was making this card. I kept it on the ring and I was looking for it. I thought, oh no, what did I do with that? All right, so we have our pieces. And the first thing I want to do is just glue this down right on here, right in the center. So we have this pretty frame. So I'll get my liquid glue, and it's not too thin in the back. Sometimes you have a hard time with these skinny areas. Let me just, sometimes you have a little bit of glue over there. Let's try this again. And I just want to go a little bit along the side. Now I know those of you who are on my mailing list saw that I used the silicone craft sheet. I send out weekly tips every week, and that's what I should be using right now instead of my hand. So do what I say, not what I do. Is that the saying? Okay, so now we have our frame. And it is a little busy, but I think it's okay. And then we're going to put our teacup. And I did pop up the teacup with some dimensionals. So let's put that in place. And before we put it down, we have to, I'll put the dimensionals on the back. We have to put that tea bag, the little string on it. I didn't do that till after yesterday. I didn't realize it. And I thought, oh, I should have done that. So let me just cut this out. I want to get a little piece for the handle here. I actually have one cut. So I just cut down a little piece of dimensional to put on the handle so it's nice and sturdy and stable. Make sure it's not coming through on the other side. And I think I'm going to put one more over here. It's probably overkill, but I like it to be stable and glued down good. Okay, so now I just take the backs off. I'll get my little piece of string and put that where I think I want to put it. Come on. So I'm having fun with my sister staying here. She is just loving it. My mother's loving having her, although there's a ton of stuff everywhere. She keeps coming over to me and asking me if I want things, and I'm moving. So I'm trying not to take anything except for maybe empty boxes. That's about all I need at this point. Okay, so now I want to figure out where I want this little, I'm going to put it right on this dimensional, and then I can cut it if I need to, just so it's stuck. So I know it's kind of off center because of the handle, like you would think you'd want it here, which I think would be okay, but I wanted it inside the frame. So now we can just cut this down. I should be using my ribbon scissors. And then I'll just glue this little tea time for tea tag right here. And put it kind of on an angle. Isn't that cute? I love it. Okay, so now we want to put this piece down kind of underneath a little bit. So we'll put this down with some liquid glue or whatever adhesive you like, but I didn't want to pop it up because I wanted it to be behind the teacup. So which ones do you like better, the green or the blue? I love the pop of red there. And then I'll just, where's my take your pick tool here? I'm going to just pick these up with the putty end of this, and I'll put a little bit of glue here and here for the big ones. I don't want to put too much here. I feel like the glue must be stopped up a little bit. I'll put one here and over here. Okay, so then I'll just pick this up. Oops, there we go. I do want to kind of look at the top. I want the top over here. I kind of wanted the flower top to look like that. We'll put this one here. And, whoops. Got this one there. And I did give it a little bit too much glue, but that's all right. It'll dry clear, and then it'll be fine. And then I just put some pearls in the center of the two flowers. But I think it's really cute. So let's get some pearls, and I used just the very tiny ones and put them in the flower centers. I think when you add a center to a flower, it really just changes the whole look of it. So it looks kind of blah. And then you put this in, and now you have a flower. So cute. There you go. So that's our cord front. And now let's do the inside. So on the inside, I think I'll use a piece of the paper. Actually, I think I'm going to use the striped paper. There is a stamp that you can use that will give you the striped look, but I want to use it backwards. I want the teapot, I feel like on the inside it should be over here. I don't know why, but that's just something that in my mind I think should be that way. Let's see. I know there's a blue striped sheet in here. That's not it. Okay. I swear there's a blue one. Let me do this one more time. And maybe I'll use the other one. Maybe there isn't a blue one. Maybe I saw it in the book. That's probably what happened. And it was stamped. So let's just do this one. And I'm going to cut this down again. And let me get my trimmer. Hey Cindy. Hey Carol. Cindy from Oklahoma. Wow. And Carol, you're from Connecticut. Nice. Thanks for joining me. And we're going to just cut this down. I had measured the teapot before, so we'll just cut it down a little bit under 2 inches. And let me get this teapot. And I still have a little piece in here. So I want the teapot on the inside to go this way. So I'm going to just turn it over and run it through this way. So it's going to cut from the back. So I think it's a nicer cut. You know, the front is always a nicer cut, but let's see how it is. Maybe we can do the bone folder and straighten it out if it's got some lines. So I'm just going to run it through and run it back again. I'm not going to go all the way. Okay. I love these little teapots. I think this paper is so pretty. So let's take this off. And here we have it. So what I'm going to do is just get my bone folder, because it kind of has a little lip there, and just go over it and get the edges down. So on the inside, we can do this. Let me get my inside layer. I always have layers, have a bunch of them cut just sitting on the side here. So we'll do this, and I think that's pretty. And I can do the flowers or I can do the hearts. So this one I'm going to make, I think, a Mother's Day card for my mom. So I am not going to stamp a sentiment in. I'm just going to put this in, and I'll cut some hearts out of the red. So let's cut them. I'm doing a lot of cutting here. And I'm just going to cut this up here by hand. And I'll get 1 big red heart and 2 little red hearts. So there we go. Get my dies out again. A lot of back and forth today, right? So this one has it has actually 2 of these big red hearts. There's one here and one here, and then you get 1 die that has all 3 of the little red ones, or little hearts. I'm making them red. All right, so let's put this down. And we'll just run that and that one. All right. You like the blue card, Tiffany? What am I seeing? Oh, you like the pop of the red. Yeah, that's what I like too. I like the red, but the blue card is pretty. I think this color is so pretty with the glimmer paper. So let's take these off. We're almost done. And these are kind of stuck there. There we go. 1. And I guess there's a heart in the die itself. 2, 3. So let's put this away now. Get it out of my way. Oof, sorry for the noise. And then we can put these all down on the inside. Now I won't put the inside layer down until I have it all together. This way, if I make a mistake, I can turn it over, or I can get another piece. So I'm just going to put this down with a little bit of glue. And I think that's pretty with that pattern, actually. I could have cut this pattern out, but I thought that might be a little too busy. And then we'll just get this little heart here. Right like that. And then I'm going to just put a little glue here. This glue, it's a new glue, so I'm really like overdoing it with it. Let me just get, I'm going to get a little piece of paper here because I think I put too much glue on. I have to get it so it's not so much. And when I'm done, I'll use my gum eraser and just get that glue off of it. I don't know if you guys use this at all, but the gum eraser, once it's dry, it'll just take it right off. So I'm a little heavy-handed here. Usually I have better control. I feel like it's, let me get another one. I feel like it's just not cooperating here. There we go. That's what I want, just a little bit. And then we'll use the putty end of the Take Your Pick tool. So it's kind of like a coming out and up. And I will either put a Happy Mother's Day sentiment in or just write a note for my mom. All right, and I like to put my insides in with my Stampin' Seal. I feel like sometimes, and especially with a white card base, sometimes you can see that glue line. So we'll just put this down, and I'll get that off later. So these are the two cards. I think this suite is just beautiful. So I hope you give it a try. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. You can email me, patty@pspapercrafts.com, or go to pspapercrafts.com. That's where my blog is. I'll have more pictures. You can shop there from my online store, and I'll have instructions there as well. All right, thanks so much for joining, everyone. You have a good